This took more than 6 months of planning. Alright, so we all started our woodworking process somewhere along the line. Or maybe you actually haven't even started yet. For my case, I actually started in high school, so I thought it'd be really cool to take a look back at the projects that I made. To this day, I'm honestly still surprised with myself on how some of them turned out. Freshman year, my humble beginnings. So at this point in my life, I really didn't know much about woodworking, other than some simple projects that I helped my dad with. I decided to take this class that was computer design for the first half of the year, and then the second half of the year was woodworking. It was designed to help those freshies find the elective path they wanted to take. And little did I know, I found one of my favorite things to do in life. My first project was this handy dandy serving tray. And as you can see, there's really not much to it. It just sits in my bathroom now, but it really taught me how to use some of the basic tools like a planer, table saw, and even more important, the palm sander. I also made this little wood burning here, which is actually pretty cool. I'm still actually pretty proud of it. Either way, I shortly fell in love with the process of creating with wood. Finally, after that year of the boring intro class, I could finally sign up for the advanced woodworking class. And of course I did. I had all the tools to my disposal and I could build anything I want. And for my first project, I decided to build a bed frame. I was so excited for class every day and it was definitely my favorite class by far. I learned how to use definitely some more advanced tools like a router, like a dado stack for the table saw, and even a biscuit joiner. And here's how it came out. And I'm actually really proud with it. It's still holding up today after 5 years of use, and I think it honestly looks great. Now, it's definitely not perfect. There's still some really silly mistakes that I would laugh at today, but it really impressed my teacher, and it was a great gateway into some real woodworking. At this point, I could not wait until next year's project. Alright, I was hooked. Luckily, I could keep taking this class every year because my schedule still allowed for it. Now that I knew I could build anything, because I'm such a good woodworker at this point, I got pretty ambitious. I spent all summer trying to decide what I wanted to build for the next year. And I decided to build a large desk with a hutch. When school started, I spent every study hall I had trying to design this thing. This is actually kind of a funny story. At the time, I was a busboy for a local restaurant, and I would literally stand in the back and think of how every piece and part of this thing would have to go together. It helped pass the time, honestly. I didn't even know if I could get this thing done in a year, considering kids were literally making a box with a lid on it. But I was so passionate about this project, and you can tell by the drawings that I did. I went through at least 20 different design changes and renditions before I finally decided on my final plan. This took more than 6 months of planning. I also wanted to say, I definitely did not clean any of this desk before I shot video of it. These compartments here are always clean and organized and never cluttered at all. I mean, even this cabinet here is always really clean. I used walnut, and for some reason, I was so obsessed with wormy maple. For this project, I definitely learned how to use some big boy toys like the shaper, and I guess the bandsaw you could call a big boy toy. I also learned how to do some pretty complex joinery as well along the way. I was beyond proud of myself for this project, and I honestly still am pretty proud. It's still pretty cool. I still look at it today and be like, geez, I can't believe I built that. And honestly, that's what woodworking is all about, just taking pride in your work. And this led me to my most ambitious project yet. I'm kidding. I'm not quite that good. But I still did want to try something new, and epoxy projects were starting to really become popular around that time in 2018. So I decided to take a stab at it. It took a very long time to find a slab that I wanted, and I ended up coming up with probably the ugliest slab possible. Here it is. The naked eye, it really does look ugly, but I knew I had a diamond in the rough here, and I could make something really nice out of it. So here's what I came up with, and I actually made some matching end tables to go with it. really happy with how they turned out, and I got to use a CNC router too for the tops of my end tables, which were pretty cool. Looking back on it, I wish I maybe would have went with a matte black, so it would have matched some more furniture, maybe a little bit better, but it's still pretty unique and I'm proud of it. I'm also really curious to know, out of these projects, which one you found as your favorite. Go ahead and let me know down in the comments. And so that leads me to where I am today at Starner Woodworking. Man, I really took those fancy industrial tools for granted.